Good morning, YouTube. Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's show. I am going to be short one Tina today. I am super sorry about that, but she has an issue with her kitty cat is going to the doctor. So you got to work around those vet times, and I'm really hoping her cat does well. I think it will. I think her cat's going to get the treatment it needs. It's been on antibiotics, but now it's developed a cyst, and they just need to take care of that. So I have high hopes for the kitty cat this morning, but thus I don't have my Tina today, and it was our birthdays this week. So we've had a really good week. Thank you, everybody that wished us a happy birthday. Hers was on Tuesday, mine's on Thursday. And we have a friend, Sean, who was in the middle on Wednesday. So it's always nice to, we're always saying happy birthday this week to each other. All right, what's going on? Oh my gosh, we've got a lot to talk about here. And I decided to go ahead and do the show solo because I've done show solo many, many times, but there's just a lot to talk about this week. It feels like every time I get one problem fixed in Amazon, 3 more pop up. So first up, have you all noticed the new workflow sucking really bad, really bad? The API has not really been fixed between Inventory Lab and Amazon. Some of us are on different levels. So if you're not quite having the same experience, like not everybody is rolled over to this new awesome experience that completely sucks. Good morning, Reno. How are you? And good morning, Armand. Nice to see you guys in the chat. What has happened is if you use Inventory Lab to dedicate which items are in what box, you go ahead and you assign them, you push through the feed, and then when you get over to the Amazon, there's 2 choices. One is to continue with API, and the other is change to Amazon workflow. And if you select the first option, you just go back to the main page of your shipments, and nothing goes through, nothing syncs. We don't have a good workaround around this, but as soon as we do, it will be posted in the Facebook groups. So keep your eyes out for that. I follow, obviously I follow lots of different people and groups on the Facebook, one being the Inventory Lab group. And every group has this problem. So every group has posted this problem. Nobody has posted a solution yet as of Friday morning. We are on the 7th of April. I hope they get it fixed because once you select the workflow in Amazon, you have to go through and reassign everything to the different boxes, which is a pain in the butt. It's honestly like an extra 10 minutes of work. I did a batch the other day with 200 items over 7 boxes, and it took me like 10 minutes to fill out the form. Just have Inventory Lab on one tab and the workflow on the other tab, and just kind of toggle back and forth and assign your items to the different boxes. The other issue that people are having, and I didn't see if I did, I honestly didn't check, I just put my labels on and go, is when the labels are printed out, the box weights and dimensions aren't matching up for what boxes you say are happening. So we've had a few people post that in the groups that have said, I have 3 boxes, one's 20 pounds, then 30 pounds, then 10 pounds, and it's like flipping them around. So what their solution has been was to match up the weight and dimensions to the box weight and dimensions. So maybe in Inventory Lab, their designations were box 1, 2, and 3, and then in reality, it's going to be 2, 3, 1 or something. Just keep an eye out. There's not a whole lot we can do. Inventory Lab knows about this problem. They are trying to fix it, and until they fix it, there's not a whole lot that I can do, right? I'm not a programmer, and I don't know API feeds well enough to offer advice or anything. So I just kind of got to sit back and suck it up. Hopefully for maybe a week. I'm going to get very irritated if it lasts longer than a week. The other thing that they are doing, which you may be getting, is a report saying that your fees charged for your shipments are wrong and they've adjusted them for you. Love that, don't you? That now they're saying you can't measure a box right. You just want to say, look, I have kind of like the self-checkouts. Don't check my receipt at the door if you're expecting me to work and check myself out. Like either you trust me enough to check myself out or you don't. Same with box weight and dimensions. All of my box weight and dimensions that they have corrected for me have all been off by like half an inch at best. And I'm going, of course, when they measure, they're going to go into their favor. When I measure, I'm going to go into my favor. So if it looks like it's 12 1/4 inch, I'm putting 12 down. I'm not going to put 12.25. Come on now. We don't need to get that particular. Anyhow, so they sent me a report the other day, and it's all busy work. All of my boxes were adjusted between 12 cents and 80 cents. And at the end of the day, it was about break even. It was mostly like in my favor, and a couple not in my favor. And at the end, it was a wash. So now we are paying and having an extra layer of complexity for what? Nothing. You didn't really get any money out of me. So I don't know, irritating. But again, what can you do? The UPS people, I guess they were getting scammed by having lots of people scam the system. And it's unfortunate that scammers are going to scam, and they're going to do that. Speaking of scammers, it's been really bad in the scamming world this week. I just feel like I've gotten a lot of hit ups for bad scam things. Not going to get into that too much because it doesn't really concern Amazon world, but it is, yeah, it's out there. It's out there. So we've got a couple of other things going on here. We just got a lot going on. But if you have comments, questions, whatever, leave them in the chat here. I have the chat going on this screen, and then I've got other things going on this screen. So I would love to answer your questions live. If you're catching this on the replay, put your question, and we eventually get to it here on the shows. So this one I wanted to bring up, which was, I'm going to have to post something in our bundle group because this is mostly concerning bundles. But if you are trademarked, and let's see if I can blow this up just a bit. Nope, that's the wrong one. I got to click over here and then blow up. If you do trademarks, there is some issues going on with getting trademarks rejected because it was filed by an attorney who has previously been associated with a trademark that was sanctioned, made invalid by the USPTO for violating terms and conditions. I have no idea what terms and conditions, but a lawyer posted this, and I'm glad I didn't use a lawyer to file my trademark. Apparently what's been happening is there's been lawyers that, will file your trademark for you. And if they get a bad rep, then they go through and they deactivate anything that lawyer has been working on. And it's another, I use the word cluster F a lot in the Amazon world. I won't do it live with you all, but yeah, it is a pain in the butt and issues. So the attorneys become blocked, thus your trademark becomes invalid, et cetera, and they don't know how to fix it yet. So another problem on the plate that we don't know how to fix. Good morning, Facebook user and Facebook user. I'd have to go over to Facebook to see who is saying happy Friday and good morning, but good morning, good morning. It is a lovely day here. We are getting ready for Easter this weekend. We don't have a whole lot planned. Do you guys have things planned? I think I'm going to try the new, well, it's not new to me way of silk dyeing eggs with my daughter and kind of do a project out of that. So that sounds like fun. The other thing that Amazon is cracking down on is magnets. We've had a few people in different groups have issues if your item is magnetic, has magnets, has the word magnet in it. I don't know. They'd probably even flag if you said this dress was magnetic and makes you look good. They'd probably have a fit with that too. Tell you the algorithms are insane. So I did a little bit of digging so that I can present you guys with some of the policies here. But Amazon prohibits the sale of novelty magnets and magnet sets that are used for entertainment, educational, mental stimulation, and stress relief. I kind of wanted to know what the mental stimulation and stress relief was. What are we doing with magnets? Like, I don't know. Maybe there's some like Reiki healing and stuff going on with magnets that I just am not familiar with. So I went and looked up. This is a list of all the prohibited things on Amazon. Probably a good one to bookmark in your system. And I can only share the post on my YouTube channel. So if you're in the Facebook group, you're going to have to, I don't know, if you make a listing or, make a post and say, list that thing, I can go back and do it. Because I'll forget by the end of this show what to do here. But it's kind of neat to go through and just kind of see what is prohibited in Amazon. For magnets, you've got all of this stuff here. We've got vertical air pillows, elephant sleep pillows. I have no idea what most of this stuff is. Lawn darts, I know what it is. Children's upper body drawstring clothing, I kind of know what that is. Padded crib bumpers, I've gotten in trouble for that one before. Padded crib bumpers were selling really good. You'd get them at Burlington for $10, sell them for 40 on Amazon all day long. And I know they're still being sold, so I don't know how they're getting around that. Inflatable neck floats for children. Yeah, that one's a interesting phase. Face masks for infants, sky lanterns, fireworks. Uh, you know, some of the stuff you're like, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. And then some things you're like, oh, I could see how that could be flagged for different things. Anyhow, take a look around at it if you are going down the private label path. I see this a lot with private label is they want to private label something and I can already see red flags because it's going to need toy compliance, or for the magnetic compliance, there is a way to submit paperwork for magnetic compliance. That will be my afternoon research project. And people think that they're going to, sell an XYZ category, but then they are not familiar with the policies behind it. So get very familiar with whatever you want to sell and what the policies are. All right, I went in here. There we go, popped up again. And this is another one that's probably good for bookmarking on policies outlined in Amazon. So go ahead, there we go, just went through. Like this, I was helping somebody out the other day and they have a made in the US made in the US, so I may send that to him later. But any product you described or label as made in the US must have been made completely or mostly in the United States. So if you have something, unfortunately this happens, if you have something that you're getting on Alibaba, you can't just print on there made in the US. There is no formal way to call out sellers on that, but I do see it happening that they have it printed made in the US, but it's clearly not a US product. Anyhow, here's the magnet stuff right here. We've got medical devices. I got stuck with medical device stuff on some of my condom listings. Condoms are a medical device, which makes sense when you start putting the pieces together there. And had to go get the FDA facility information for those items, which is not hard. If you dig around on the FDA site, you will eventually find that information, and got it submitted. I also was able to contact the lab and get the testing reports and submit that. So if you have any of these problems, they're not impossible. They feel impossible at the time to solve. You're like, oh my gosh, how do I get the FDA facility? It just takes some work, some research and some work. So think of it as like a school project or, just one of those projects that you got to do for work. You've got to figure it out and see where you can find that information. Reach out to your supplier, etc. All right. The last bring up that I had prepared for you all is this, and let's see if I can beef up there we go. Verification. I am going to put this together for our bundle members. I may put it out to the main group as well. We'll see. I got to fix this up. I copied and pasted this morning from somebody else in a different Facebook group. I want to say it was the legal Facebook group, which, I will say something about that really quick. So Ed Rosenberg, the guy in the legal group, he is pleading guilty to accepting or giving bribes to Amazon employees to help fix accounts. Now, I'm never ever going to condone illegal activity, but I do not know the whole of this story, nor do I really care. The group still provides a lot of good information, and the law is the law. He will go and he will face his day in the judgment and pay for whatever crimes he's committed. I do have to say, though, as I have worked with Amazon for the last 8 years, there's times where if I could have offered $10 to fix my problem, I totally would have. So I can't fault them for that, because it is very difficult to get anywhere with Amazon Seller Central and get your problems fixed. So anyhow, all I'm saying is I understand where he's coming from. The group is still going to remain active and still has a lot of great people that contribute to it. So take it for what it's worth. We all have our line of ethics. Where your line is and how you view things is up to you. I don't condone, and I'm not going to call him out or anything. I don't care. I don't know him. He's not like my friend or anything. I just know that he's been working with Amazon for years, and the group has provided lots of good information. So this person, which I didn't post their name, and I think it was from that group, don't quote me though, how to do the video verification process and what they're going to ask. And they wrote a really detailed thing. Just all sorts of questions. So I don't want to go through it, but I will stop periodically and you guys can scan the page with me here. I get this a lot. I get a lot of people in Fiverr that, and on the Facebook posts that, good morning, Nate. I'm without Tina today. She's got to take the cat to the vet. So I am hoping her kitty cat is okay. She had a 8:30 appointment, so she's out today. Anyhow, when you do the verification process, like I said, a lot of people that are in other countries are like, wait, what? You're going to need to verify me? And Amazon's going to send a verification card. They're going to get on the phone with you. They are going to ask you many of these questions or some of these questions, but basically they're going to want you to show your ID. They're going to want to show a bill. So you need to have like a water bill or a rent bill in your name. And it all needs to be, if you're going to sell in America, you kind of need to have it in America. They're going to send it to an American address. As far as out of country stuff goes, I know Australia, New Zealand, UK are all very similar in the process. As other countries, I am not as familiar with it. So I will again clean this up and then I will share this document over on the main Facebook page. Yeah, I'll share it on the main Facebook page and I'll try to dig up who I sourced it from as well. Good morning, Tycoon. How are you doing today? I'm doing good. Tina's not doing good with her poor kitty cat, but other than that, we're doing just fine. Just irritated with some of these slap downs. I got another suspected IP complaint this week. Cleared that up. Still fighting on my one IP complaint, and I won 2 DMCAs. And then, yeah, I fixed like 3 what is it called? Suppressed. I fixed a couple suppressed listings. Those are always irritating as well. Little maintenance to the inventory. Okay, so going down my comments I go from the soonest rather than the latest today. Have I hired another prep person? No, that is in the works. Okay, so sidebar, my son is going to get out of school here in the middle of June, and him and both my daughter are thinking of doing some hours for me over the summer to make some money, which they do need because right now we give them money for nothing. So it'd be better if I got some money on there. And thoughts on a prep center. I have thought of a prep center because that would definitely work for some of my items. But since I'm going more bundles, last I checked, over 60% of my inventory was all custom bundles that require, I'll say, 2 to 5 components. The prep centers are too expensive because they charge per component. So if they're going to charge 50 cents or $1 for each item putting in there, something that has 5 items is going to be a little too expensive for me. I will hire another person definitely before fall. Between now and fall, I am not sure if I will hire somebody. I'm kind of still cleaning up messes here and getting things straightened out. I thought I would have everything kind of cleaned up in about a week. And yeah, it was really more in depth than that. I think I just got done with all of the shipment issues. I had 18 shipment issues in the 128-day time frame that I had to deal with, plus a couple of items sent in incorrectly and just some other things in the office like inventory. Last month was a cluster. This month, when I did it last weekend, was better. So now I'm like, okay, inventory is ready to go forward. And if you don't do inventory, it's because I use an accrual base. So I need to count everything in the office and I have to go around and get things fixed up. And there was just a lot of little mistakes, but I don't want to get on here and like bad mouth my previous packers too much, because part of it is if they're bad, then I was bad, right? As a manager, and you're only as good as your instructions, is kind of how I feel. So I clearly didn't instruct well enough, and I need to fix that going forward. Part of it was, they were teenagers and they just didn't care. So the non-caring part will be adjust when I go hire somebody else. I want somebody that has a better work ethic in general. Things like, I can tell you right now, on my shelf, I have 10 by 13 bags. I got 2 cases of those. I had 2 cases of something else. 18 by 24. I've got 2 cases of those. I have 2 cases of 11 by 14, and I really shouldn't have. So like, why did we have double cases there? It's because they would say we were out, I would order, and then they would put it in a wrong spot in the office and it wouldn't get counted. So then they'd say we're out again and I'd order again. So now I've got, $200 of extra cases of bags that I'll use, right? But clearly that system didn't work. We didn't stay organized. We were unorganized. Yeah, little things. I found my vacuum cleaner was completely clogged full. They didn't feel like they needed to unclog the vacuum. Stuff like that. How do you change? This is a good question. How do you change your ship from in the Seller Central so that it matches my prep center? When you go to make your workflow, how in Inventory Lab, when you create a batch, you have a spot for a drop down to select where you're shipping from. So you can do it in Inventory Lab. If you're in Amazon and you're doing your workflow, it's on that first page where you select, right after you select your item. So say you select, 3 items and you say, I'm going to ship this, that next page. It's in the upper left, right above your items. And you just select a different select a different address. You can have lots of different addresses in there. If you are shipping from Alibaba, there is a way to do the Chinese address, and that takes a little bit of work. But again, you can hit me up later if you need to dissect a Chinese address. I know how to do that, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Every country, has kind of a different format for addresses. Wow. Yeah. So true about the extra bags order. Yeah. It was irritating what I found and what was done. And I had a couple of angry customers that received the wrong item that I had to, make sure that they were taken care of. They did one eBay order and they only shipped, the person ordered 2 items and they didn't catch that. And that's something that if they had been paying attention, they totally knew about and they would have caught. Good morning, FOABP. We've got, hi, how do you do the in-stock rate to come down? I've hidden all the listings that are no longer fulfilled and it's still 45% to 95%. That is a good question. I'm going to give you a couple options, and I haven't dived down this in the last 6-8 months, probably since last summer. So I'm not sure if the solutions are still the same. There's hiding. You also want to fulfill, if you can restock items, but I think you need to close the ones. I think the trick is to close and or delete ones you're not going to relist. So if you're not going to relist them, close, or if you're not going to relist them, delete them, get them out of your inventory. If they are ones you're not going to restock, close them. And that might help. I am not 100% sure. I'd have to look that up to see if it's a direct correlation. With all of my items that are seasonal, let's say I have like Christmas. Christmas is all now recalled. I have listed it FBM, and for my FBA listings, I went through and I closed them because I'm not going to send in FBA until whatever, maybe October for Christmas stuff, right? So try that. It is a rolling, I want to say 6 weeks on your IPI. So they're going to take a snapshot of the last 6 weeks. So if you make a change now, that change is not going to be fully reflected. It's a slow reflection, kind of like steering the boat. You got to keep tweaking it, and then you should see it go up. All right. Somebody posted that in their neck of the woods, see here. There we go. In their neck of the woods, I have 4 Ross shops that I shop at regularly. I know most of the managers. Nobody ever mentioned that they are not reseller friendly. Same thing with Kohl's, that they have 2 Kohl's managers that will text them when they're having the 50% off clearance. But Target around them is very strict. So yes, we came up with a video the other day targeting, which stores are not reseller friendly. And it is very regional based as well. My Ross and my Kohl's are very strict on resellers. They do not like resellers in there for whatever reason, and they will be douches about it. Other people have great rapport and they take their tax exempt at their Kohl's. And I'm going, okay, well, their company policy, if the manager wants to be a jerk, they can refer to the company policy, and the company policy is they are not reseller friendly. So great, count that as a win. I know Trader Joe's is not reseller friendly, but some people have great rapport with them and are able to order cases and have no problem with it. Do I have any suggestions on how to pack tea? Tea. I'm going to assume it's boxes of tea. Boxes of tea and boxes of Keurigs can be just labeled and thrown in a box, but if you get a high complaint, high issue rate, you might want to box them. I have had some, I've done it both ways. I have also bagged them. A lot of times I will bag my tea and or coffee packs just because it's a food item, and one of our standards here is really just to poly bag anything food. There's a few food items that I would bypass the poly bags, but boxes of cereal, boxes of crackers, anything bugs could crawl into, I like to bag because the warehouses are not the cleanest things in the world. So I just feel that having that extra layer provides a good customer experience, cuts down on the negative feedback. Again, that's my internal policy. It's not, Amazon's going to want you to do whatever gives the best customer experience. And food is one of those things that you cannot really get refunded or returned. So a lot of times people will, if they can't get their money back, like let's say you bought some tea and it arrived and it was completely smashed and it's like all over the place and it's just a big mess. And then they go on Amazon, they find out they can't return or refund it. They're going to go and leave you negative feedback if they're pissed off enough. So I just like to bag where I can. Bags are cheap. Bags are really cheap. Could I do this from Walgreens? They're talking about ungating Squishmallows. No, Walgreens will not give you a valid receipt invoice for ungating. So no, unfortunately, Walgreens is no good. You can ungate things with a Kohl's receipt. I have not done it, but a lot of people have, and that's awesome. Let's go down here. Keep scrolling down. I do have a question about Amazon and about Amazon verification process for established accounts. I was not sure if I should select individual or private owner. I do not have a business license, so I thought I should check individual. I was kind of fretting about my account getting rejected. No, you can totally select individual. If you're going through that verification process, you can select individual. In your account, you can change your setup. A lot of people fluctuate between individual, LLC, Go S Corp, and you can change that structure around within once you get verified. And Amazon is not against individual sellers at all. They don't mind that at all. All right. Do you do a lot of FBM on shoe category? Nope, none. I do absolutely zero FBM shoes. I like to do FBA shoes if I do shoes at all, but I have heard, and heard meaning there's a lot of people complaining on the Facebook boards, that the returns right now for clothes and shoes are getting really ridiculous. I also have ordered 2 shoes personally this week, and they come in a brown box. So maybe they're getting a little more lenient on brown boxes. They were both Skechers, and they came in just standard Amazon shoe boxes. How do you set up the shipping template for shoes? I do the migrated template. I turn off the free shipping and I do price per pound. I do $4.99 for the first pound, $4.99 for each additional pound. I do not do international shipping, and I do not do any of the expedited shipping. Once in a while during Q4, I will turn on the expedited shipping and charge, I think it's like $8.99 for the first and $4.99 for each additional, or something really, really high up. Again, it depends on what I'm advertising, if it's a heavy item or not. You don't want to screw yourself with expensive shipping and not get reimbursed for it. That, or you can turn on the free and then work it into your price, but then you might get that high pricing error. Have you done any Amazon to Amazon ungate? No, not lately. I did one about a year ago for Children's Place pajamas. Child's Place, Children's Place. With the children. Yeah. I think that's the last one that I have done. I have not needed to get ungated recently for anything. Most of my issues have been really complex back-end issues, such as the generic issue. We've been talking about this a lot in the bundle group. A lot of us standard make generic listings and generic bundles and generic multi-packs. It's good to have a generic exemption. And there was a issue where everybody then became regated in generic. And I had one this last week where I've been I've been re-ungated for all the generic stuff, but it wasn't going through for my toys. And they said it was a back end glitch. In fact, the guy yesterday on the phone, Seller Central, which I do talk to them on a weekly basis. It's unfortunate. I wish I didn't have to call them on a weekly basis, but sometimes multiple times a week or day. He said there's been a lot of Amazon glitches going on, and I had to do a complex flat file to merge 4 other listings onto an existing parent that was set up before a lot of the changes. Last year, the big changes in items when you list was they now require weights and dimensions. They now require you to select if it has a battery or not. There's a couple other little nuances. And when you do a flat file, you need to correct those items in there. Anyhow, I walked through the flat file feed in the bundle group yesterday. So if you are in the bundle group, you can go back and watch that video from yesterday. It's very intense on doing flat files, which they just offer no training on that. It's really ridiculous. In fact, some of the reps don't even know how to do flat files correctly. One of these days. All right, scrolling through. The robots answering. My robots have been weird. My robots have been on the fritz. I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while they make noises or they answer me when I'm not even talking to them. Do you guys find that they're listening too? Yeah, crazy. Let's see here. This is another good question. I don't know how to say your name. How to find meltables from inventory quickly? That is a good question. I don't know if there's a way to do quickly. Here's my theory on meltables. Perry and Kim's Facebook group. If you go over to Facebook and go to Perry and Kim's FBA, just type in Perry Kim FBA, PERRYKIM FBA. They have a walkthrough on how to pull your inventory, how to get the meltable inventory, how to run and cross it and figure out what your meltables are. I thought about doing that, and then I thought, you know what? I kind of know what my meltables are, and I just don't have anything that's really flagging it. Here's the issue though. Let's say that you are making a listing and you want to do Easter Burt's Bees chapstick is kind of popular right now. I could make a listing for Burt's Bees chapstick or whatever chapstick bundle, whatever, and put chapstick in it. And chapstick's one of those sort of meltable, maybe not meltable. You start selling it a lot. And if you start shipping it all out in July and August and all the customers complain and they're now leaving product reviews and complaints and getting reimbursed for product melted, Amazon will go and change your listing for you and now classify it as meltable. I've had this happen. Your inventory then you are stuck with and you need to recall it. They do not take that as a priority. In fact, they will take their sweet time getting your inventory back to you, but they will no longer fulfill that FBA inventory, and it's just stuck. So yeah, you can gamble, you can roll the dice and make your listing not meltable. You have the power to be with that. If it's like chocolate, I mean, it's going to get swamped really quick. But anything that's kind of in that gray area, jelly beans, lipsticks, Carmex, I'm trying to think, candles can be listed without it, without the melting temperature, but they will eventually catch up with you and make it meltable. The way that I look sourcing is I have RevSeller, and RevSeller will have a little blurb if it's going to be meltable or not. And I've had times where I've gone out and I've sourced something. By the time I get back to the office and double check, it gives me a thing that, oh, now it's classified as meltable. So it's kind of, there's not a really great way, unfortunately. You just kind of got to know all the pieces of the puzzle and make the best decisions. All right, we got another question here. What are the pros and cons for the Amazon in-stock head start? I'm considering making mine inactive because I have a bunch in pending, some for over a month. I am in the in-stock. I'm in the Head Start in-stock thing, and I am trying to really be on top of getting those orders and closing anything that I can't restock. Most of the stuff that I can't restock, it's because my supplier is out of stock for whatever reason, and they just haven't gotten me the inventory. So just closing those so they don't get hit. And I don't mind the in-stock thing. Amazon kind of handles it, so they have their estimations, and I don't have any negatives for it. The pros are you get sales faster. Like I just ship something out and I've already got a sale, and I'm like, oh wow, that's quick. But they're doing the calculations and they're taking the responsibility for it. So not my problem. All right. I am sending FBM. Does UPS also require limited quantity stickers? Some groups I'm in have said that I have to be approved by UPS or they won't accept the hazardous item. Have you heard this or have any insight? I am wondering if I show up at the UPS hub ready to go, if they will give me an issue. There's two questions to this. So first up, for hazardous shipping, go to your hub, ask them, tell them what you're shipping and ask them what they want. I really have had this changed so much on me. I don't feel comfortable giving out any insight. They've gone, the ORMD stickers that they used to require are no longer required. And then the diamond sticker, if that's required, needs to be the appropriate size for your box. And I once got into a big argument about my diamond sticker being 1/4 of an inch off. They're like, it's proportioned to the box. So the bigger box, the bigger diamond you got to have. And mine was off by 1/4 inch. And I'm like, you're kidding me. So go in, make friends with your hub and ask them. A lot of times they say, call the 800 number. So yeah. And then you got to talk to the person at the 800 number, describe what you're packing. You want to say, I'm sending in 12 cans of hairspray. How do you want that packaged? And they will walk you through what to do. And I really haven't shipped out anything new that I need to know new rules about, because I mainly body spray, hairspray, and like air diffuser, smell well thingies. So those are kind of the 3 areas that I ship out hazard. And the main thing is that it goes ground, right? We don't want to have any hazardous stuff take out any airplanes. That would be bad. So make sure you're doing everything through the ground. You can, at the hubs, they have a computer there, so you can physically bring your thing in and have it ready to go, and then do all of the shipping there and pay your UPS store right there. That's kind of the easier way to do it. And then they have a UPS hub now. Where the heck did I go? It wasn't a Kinko store. Something else. I can't remember. It's down the street. On your business model, when do you start liquidation for your products? That depends. A lot of times, if it's been sitting around 6 months, I really want, it's not moving. After 30 days, if it hasn't moved anything, you really need to start saying, why isn't it not moved? Did the browse nodes go down? Is the SEO correct? Is it just not desirable? Like if it's a Christmas towel and it's not Christmas time, probably nobody's looking for a Christmas towel right now, right? Or a Christmas toy. So just depends on the product. If it's a bundle or something that I like, a toy or things like that, perhaps there's two listings and now the other one is beating it out. Let's say you were doing barbecue sauce and you were sending in a single bottle. Well, now somebody's bottled two bottles together and that's undercutting your price of one. You're not going to sell it. Let's say you're selling it for $9.99 and now somebody's got a 2-pack for $11.99. You're not going to sell that single pack anymore, right? Because people are going to see that 2-pack and go purchase that 2-pack. So I have recalled and rework. That's what I do a lot of times. I recall, I rework. Sometimes I'll put it over on eBay. Sometimes I'll rework it, put it into Amazon. Sometimes I'll get on a different listing. I've taken 6-packs, break it down to 3-packs, send in 3-packs, reversely, get back 3-packs, put it on the 5-pack listing, whatever makes sense monetarily to move that product. I have one old product from it was a bad purchase from last year. I'm kicking myself. It looked really good at the time. It always looks good at the time, right? Well, there's really two listings that one has definitely a higher velocity than the other. Amazon's in and out of stock on both listings. And so I'm trickling in about 5-10 a month and I'm almost done. Almost all gone. But I'm sending in about 5 at a time. So it doesn't kill my IPI score having 50 sit there and I'm not getting storage fees on it. Right. But I have one or two piles like that. I've really done a good job of cleaning up crud from last year. That's what I've been working on without my lovely packers here. I can work on that kind of stuff. All right, Melissa. Good morning, Melissa. How are you? Do you ship SPD or LTL? I am doing SPD right now. I have debated doing the LTL. I could. Right now at my back door, there's like 7 boxes, and I do that about every 3 days. So that'd be we'll say 20 boxes a week. And I'm trying to think on a pallet, if I stacked them on a pallet, what the cost savings analysis would be to do an LTL. And I have pallets, so I could just reuse the pallets. I got 3 pallets of stuff in today, or not today, this week, Monday, and 2 yesterday. So LTL can be worthwhile, and I think I'm at that point to start going LTL. Anyhow, it's just another thing on my to-do list. Do I work with the OA leads from the group? Yeah. The ones that we do? Absolutely. I went live yesterday in all 3 groups yesterday, both with the OA leads. We have 2 OA lead groups going right now. If you want to join them, you're more than welcome. We do have openings now for the OA leads and with the bundle group. So I work with the OA leads. I did about 6 different purchases across about 6 different stores with the OA leads yesterday. They're all, most of them are good. I've gotten a couple good replens out of them, which is nice. Just something that I can call and order and replenish. It's always good to build up your replens. So I do like that. And it's a very seasonal item. So liking that. Seasonal item, not based on coupons. Those are my favorite. I hate trying to follow all of the sales. Like, I'm not good at it. I don't program it into my phone. I don't keep up with it. I know they run. I'm just not very good at keeping up with it. All right, let's see if we got a second question on the hazardous stuff. Do lithium batteries require the battery symbol? Yes, there is a specific lithium battery label that you need to do, and it's got to have the 2 colors. You cannot print it out in black and white. It has to be black and white with the red border. So if you only have a black and white printer, it doesn't work. And last time I did it, my printer here is pretty garbage. The guy gave me crap about it. I'm like, stop it. My it's garbage. I'm going to keep running it until it runs into the ground, but we got a new one at home. So if I had to print again, if I have to print something nice, I print it at home. I love couponing, but it's a lot of work. Exactly. And I know like Tina's really good at it. Walgreens and Rite Aid, they run their sales and it's like every 3 weeks or whatnot, this brand is going to be on sale or beauty is going to be on sale or whatnot. I don't keep up with that. Every time I check, it's like, oh, it was just last week or it's going to start up this next week and then I'll miss it. All right. We got, I think 2 more questions maybe here. Can you please advise me on what to write on the product if it's makeup, private label FBA? Apparently it has no expiration date, but Amazon insists it has. It only has a PAO. It's when you open it's good after you open it. It's like a little jar with a lid. I have set a random future date to proceed with the shipment, but will I need to write anything on the product along with the POA symbol? You do not have to write anything on the POA on your product for expiration date. This is another one of those areas in Amazon that is a cluster. Amazon requires you to have an expiration date, but when you have these POAs symbols that says, it's good 6 months after opening, what do you put down as a date? Well, I usually do, let's say it had 6 months on it and I'm shipping today for 7, I will put 7 months out. I figured, well, sometimes whatever it is plus 2 weeks, because I figure it's going to take a week to get to the Amazon warehouse, and then it's got to be processed and put into inventory, and then the customer has to order it, and then they're going to get it, and you want to provide kind of the longest date you can. So I will do whatever, 6 months plus 2 weeks or 7 months total, and just put that date on there. Amazon has not fixed this in their system, and I don't feel like they have a high priority to fix it. So we have a lot of these Band-Aids. I was talking to the rep yesterday. I said, as a seller, this is ridiculous. We have a lot of Band-Aids to fix and move forward because your guys' system, you want to have this perfect set of rules, and then we have all these outside things that just don't comply with what you're trying to do. Last week when we had the GTIN lady on, same thing. They want to have UPC codes for everything. Well, it doesn't make sense. If you sell a Heinz ketchup and you sell a single pack, a 2-pack, a 3-pack, a 4-pack, a 5-pack, you shouldn't have 5 different UPC codes. It should be one UPC code, one listing, the option to buy the different pack sizes, period. That's how it should be, but it's not. We don't live there yet. So we can sit here and complain all we want, have some cheese with that wine, and just come up with a Band-Aid fix. All right, somebody's talking about the NARF program. It's BS that they automatically sign you up for it. Yep, it is. It is BS. I don't know what to tell you. I can't, again, change that, so it sucks. I had no clue as a new person about it, and I got stuck with an IP issue in Canada. Oh, no. The only way I knew about it was they got a Seller Central phone call, and they missed that memo. Yeah, that's pretty garbage, and I'm so sorry. If you are just signing up with a new account, and maybe you've just found me here or whatnot, if you are not wanting to sell in Mexico and Canada, go and turn those off. You go into your settings, go into your account information. You can click them on vacation mode. Alternatively, you can go over to your inventory, go to your global listings, and make sure that they are disconnected so you're not listing over in Canada. Yeah, I had one, what was it, in Canada or Mexico. Mexico flagged me for the usage of peeps in one of my listings. And I fixed the Mexico listing to take out peeps, but I did not fix the English listings to take out peeps. And so I did not win that suspected IP case for a while. In fact, it might still be on there. Anyhow, that's another little nuance. But I'm going, why is it a flagged word in Mexico and it's not in Canada and the US? But it did put my account at risk of suspension. So I've got to follow up with that. It is a pain in the butt. You got to go and check that stuff weekly. Make sure you're staying on top of it. That is all I got for questions in from the last week here. Making sure that I got everything there. We talked about quite a bit of stuff. Don't have a whole lot planned this weekend. We've got, like I said, Easter coming. Oh, we got to go take a vehicle to the shop. Fun adulting stuff. Not so fun. And then I've got a lot of new listings to build this week. We bought a lot of stuff at ASD, and a bunch of that just came in. And as far as my goals for the shop here, I'm going to get all of my bundles. I've been working really hard in the last 6 weeks to get the velocity up. So when I do hire somebody, I have a very solid core of replens of my own product that they will be listing, that I can get them completely trained on and know how many they need to pack out in a day. So let's say I have this whatever bundle listing 1, 2, and 3, and on average I can pack 25 per hour. Then I can then have somebody come in and say the standard is 25 to whatever 35 per hour. This is what you're going to be doing. You have 50 of these to do every week and 50 of these to do every week, and really have that documented and standardized. So I know exactly what bags to order. I know exactly what boxes to order. I am also condensing down my boxes. My last packers, they like to have a lot of different box sizes, and I just want to kind of standardize my box size and not have quite so many on there so that I can, to me, like even if it's going to cost just a slightly more of a fraction, it's worth the shelf space to standardize a lot of those bundles into different bags and pack sizes. Melissa says, do you recommend having more than one account as long as it's within TOS to mitigate the risk of suspension? No, because if you get one account that's suspended, they will suspend your other account because it's linked. And I've seen that happen a couple of times with some clients on Fiverr. One guy, this company, they hired this guy, this guru, to manage their Amazon accounts, and he was managing several Amazon accounts. And he had permissions set up, which was fine. And he was running about 6 different stores. Well, one of his stores went down for a different client, not the one that I was working with, and he did not have proper documentation, or he didn't supply proper documentation. I'm not sure if he wanted to or just didn't do it and was lazy about it or whatever. But for whatever reason, he didn't take the care of the suspension on the one. So that suspended all the other stores that he was affiliated with. Now, speaking to my client, the way to get out of that was they had to formally sever ties and then prove to Amazon that they formally have severed ties with the other account. So let's take your case and scenario. Let's say you have 2 stores. You have one that's like a general OARA, and then you have one that's a private label from Alibaba, and you get stuck with a toy compliance paperwork that you know you're not going to be able to do, or an IP complaint. Let's say IP complaint, that's harder to come back from. And your Chinese factory said that they had licensing to do a Disney product, and all of a sudden, oh no, they don't really have licensing to do Disney products. Okay, well now your store is going to be suspended. It's going to be very hard to get that back. They can now go and suspend the other store. So you would have to, I guess, I'm talking in theory here. One, you'd want to make sure you'd talk with them, but possibly shut down the suspended store. And then you'd have to document that you have severed ties with the vendor. They want to see that you severed ties with your vendor in China, and that you're severing ties with that store and that private label item altogether. So do I recommend that for risk of suspension? No. For general business stuff, sure. If you're running kind of 2 businesses, that's kind of the way I would do that. I had one lady who she handles the accounts for big brands that are already going into like Targets and Walmarts, and then they're going on to Walmart or going on to Amazon. So obviously you want to have different accounts for that type of scenario, just to keep them all separate. I feel like I got fuzz. I think it's this sweater. Hope that answers your question. There's nothing wrong with having 2 accounts, but just know that one suspension can affect the other one. Tina and I are working through right now, because I got brand approval. There's a few ways you can set up other people within your brand approval to work within your brand. One is making them a registered agent that allows them to do IP complaints, and the other is giving them, I'm going to forget the word. I just watched the video on it too. But basically listing privileges. And so I want to make sure she has listing privileges. But in doing so, I want to make sure that if she ever gets suspended, that it's not going to affect my account. So I've got to call and just verify that, because in their lovely videos, Seller University videos are like the worst. It reminds me of being back at school. They're boring as all heck. Anyhow, I want to just verify that if I give her listing privileges within the brand that we're working on, and she has any account suspensions, that it's not going to link over to mine. I do know that I have account access to about 5 different, I have clients on Fiverr, and I have access into their store, and that access does not, like, if they have something go wrong in their store, it doesn't go over to my store. I have had some people that say that might not be true depending on the severity of things. So just to be aware of that. But I do feel that that is the most proper way to set up that kind of relationship if you have somebody working in your account. So I go in and I work on other people's accounts and just switch over to their account. And if you are, like, let's say you're a husband-wife team, you could either set up the 2 accounts and make sure that that's okay with Amazon, or you just set up the 1 account and give the other person access into the account. All right, if we don't have any other questions, I've got a ton to do today. I have my first problem. You know how you get case packs of like 12 or 14? And I'm putting together this bundle and it's like 24, 24, 24. I'm short one. So now I'm like, well, shoot, did I put an extra one in? I clearly put one extra in, or they shorted me one. And last night it was like 4:30 and I was getting ready. It was my birthday yesterday and we were going out to dinner. Had a lovely, lovely meal. Nice big steak. If you guys know what a Delmonico steak is, it's so good. Anyhow, and I just gave up. I'm like, clearly one fell off the table or it's somewhere in here. I hate that. I hate that when the batches don't match up. Where can you find me? On Fiverr. I can put a link here in the group real quick. Maybe, if I can find the link. But, oh, I am tired. It's Friday. I'm trying to think, what are we doing tonight? I think I'm chilling tonight, which is nice. I usually like to chill on Friday nights. Maybe go through some inventory. So that's my Fiverr gig. You're welcome to hit me over there. You can also ask questions in Online Selling with Tina. We're definitely active over there, and we provide answers to general questions over there too. And let me put a couple other links because I did not set up links very well today. We have a monthly bolo, and we do have, I don't know where my other, oh yeah. Now I know. Click. Okay. So our VA group is open and our member sharing bolo group is open. So I'm going to put all those links down there. If you are interested in the member one is real simple. You provide 3 bolos a week and it's $25 a month, and everybody in there is super cool. We talk about different ungatings. We talk about all sorts of stuff in there. But it is for people that are like actively going out and doing retail arbitrage. If you source mostly at your TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross's, Burlington's, in foot at the stores, awesome group to be part of. The bolo group is really great if you do online arbitrage, which is where I've kind of gravitated to because I don't go out to the stores very much. So if you want to do things that are online, that's great. This week we found 2 wholesalers. There was 2 wholesale places, so we kind of shout those out in the group too. Tina's really good about saying, hey, this new place on there, that's a wholesale site that you can get ungated for and different things. So really like that. And then our bundle group, we're kicking around in that. That's my favorite, I have to say, out of everything, just because it's a passion of Tina's and mine. And it is a one-time fee. It is not a monthly reoccurring. A lot of people message us and they're like, oh my gosh, it's that amount per month. No, it's a one-time fee and you're done. Like, that's it. We're not going to renew or add on or anything like that. We're rolling out later this month. It's got to be after spring break. Spring break for us is next week. But we are going to do a workshop over a weekend and do bundle finding from start to finish. And then we've also got all the walkthroughs on trademarking, branding, finding brands, etc. And then we've got a pretty intense worksheet that has a lot of information to it on when we get like a suspended IP complaint or suspected IP complaint. We are putting the verbiage there just so that we have it all in track, and then SEO stuff and working more with ChatGPT. So there'll be more of those videos coming out. Really loving the ChatGPT to build bundles, bullets, description, all of that stuff. That's fun. You can also use it for customer responses too. I've had a couple people say they've used it for really nice customer service responses for their eBay stores, for their Amazon stores. Back phone died. Oh, okay, you're back. Hi, Nate. Welcome back. I'm wrapping it up here. I hope you guys are doing well. You should send Tina some love. Her kitty cat. I gotta see how our kitty cat's doing after this. But come and join us on any of those groups if you are interested, if you want to expand in those realms. That's it. All right, I got to get packing. I have my quotas. Since my packers are gone, I've been packing as much as they did, which was not as lofty of a goal as I thought it would be. So clearly there were some issues on productivity there that will be ironed out with the next one. My birthday was yesterday. So we went out to dinner. We went to this restaurant that I really love. My husband hates it. He hates it because it's really loud and the seats are uncomfortable. And it's a really expensive steak dinner too. So he's like, for the price, they should have comfortable seatings, and I can't hear anything. But had a really good steak, and then we tried two desserts. My daughter wanted to try the cheesecake, and the lemon tart looked really good. Both were delicious and decadent, and well worth the waistline. I'm sure the calorie count last night. I don't even want to know. But it was my birthday, so uh, they had really good. They serve this salad that's a tomato, a really nice tomato, like not your garbage that you get at the grocery store that's pumped full of water and tasteless. Anyhow, really good watermelon with the balsamic and then the blue cheese. If you're a blue cheese fan, delicious stuff. All right, that's it. Now I'm getting hungry. I do have my leftovers today, so I'm excited about that. Excited for good leftovers. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing day. Thank you, Nate.